Hello, my name is Roland. This is a video about photographing the Milky Way. Enjoy! Why should you go out and photograph the Milky Way? Well, the Milky Way is one of the most captivating sights in the night sky. This stunning spiral galaxy is home to our own solar system and billions of other stars, planets and celestial objects. The Milky Way is truly a breathtaking sight and one that every photographer should consider capturing. When you photograph the Milky Way, you are capturing a moment in time that spans billions of years. You're capturing the light that has traveled across the galaxy and reached your camera lens, telling the story of the universe in a single image. But capturing the Milky Way isn't just about creating a beautiful photograph, it's also about the experience of being out in nature, under a blanket of stars, surrounded by the sounds of the night. There is something truly magical about being out in the wilderness, far away from the light pollution of cities, and experiencing the Milky Way in all its glory. For this shot I'm going to use a DSLR camera, a tripod and lenses with a wide focal length and aperture, such as a 14mm f1.8 and a 24mm f1.4. In order to save time, I will be using two cameras, one for each lens. To find the Milky Way, you'll need to locate the galactic center, which can be visible from certain locations and during certain times of the year. Scout your locations during the daytime. Use apps like Photopills and Stellarium to help you plan your shoot. Now I'm going away to scout locations for my upcoming Milky Way shoot. It's foggy right now, but according to the forecast it will clear up during the night, and I will hopefully have a clear skies tonight. So now we're on location. This is an area that has been clear cut, or they've been doing logging here. So this is a quite open area. There are some trees here and there are a tree line over there. I have been on this spot many times before, so I know how it looks like. When I have found a location that I like, I use my phone, I open up the Photopills app and I use that in order to find the Milky Way and compose my image. To see how the Milky Way will look in your shot, tap on the augmented reality icon at the bottom of the screen. This will activate the AR mode, which uses your phone's camera to superimpose the Milky Way over the real world scene in front of you. In AR mode you can move your phone around to explore different angles and compositions. You can also adjust the brightness of the Milky Way and swiping up or down on the screen. 1 AM and I got 3 o'clock. Okay, so that's 3 AM, 3:04 AM. I'm gonna put my tripods and cameras over there. Now we are going to wait for the weather to clear up. Then we're gonna be we are going to head out back to these locations. I live in Sweden, and when this video is made it's April 2023. Where I live you usually see the Milky Way during the late summer, autumn, late winter and parts of spring, depending the time of day. Usually when you can see the Milky Way it is hard to see the galactic center due to the vicinity of the sun. When the core is about to rise, the sun isn't far behind and therefore adds light, and the stars starts to fade away. Now we're on location and it's time to set up our gear. It's much easier doing that under the daylight. So this is the first one. So this is my 14mm. I will put that on my EOS R. Together that with an intervalometer like that one, or like this. And then I have my 24mm Sigma f1.4, and the 14mm is the f1.8. So I'm gonna put the intervalometer on the remote control jack. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the dark. When it's time to set a focus and compose our image, I start with setting focus. First of all, I aim my camera on a bright star. Thereafter, I set my camera settings to gather as much light as possible. When I set the shutter speed to 30 seconds, aperture to the lowest number possible, and an ISO to around 40,000. This is done so I can see the stars on my LCD screen. And when I see the stars on the LCD screen, I can manual focus. I can manual focus so the star begins to shrink and other stars behind it starts to appear. When the focusing and compositioning is done, I'll dial back my camera settings in order to get properly exposed shots. So my settings are f2.8, ISO 3200 and shutter speed of 20 seconds. I used this setting on both cameras. Okay, so that took a while, but now I have enough images for my time lapse, and it's time to go home. And now, when I'm back home, it's time to import my images in my computer. In my case, I use Adobe Bridge, Camera Raw and Photoshop in order to edit my images and put them together into a time lapse. Okay, so first open Adobe Bridge on your computer. Adobe Bridge is a powerful file management tool that will help us organize and select our images for our time lapse. Navigate to the folder where your time-lapse images are located. Make sure that the images are in a sequential order. Select one image by clicking on it. Okay, so now I've marked my image, and now I will click the Camera Raw button in the toolbar, as you can see right here. In Camera Raw, you can make various adjustments to the image, such as exposure, white balance, contrast, and more. satisfied with our image, we're gonna save it, and we do that by clicking this image, icon. And here we select the file type to be .dng. And now I name the file Milky Way, okay, and save as DNG. Have already saved it as, so I'm not gonna use this file. So I'm gonna close this down. Normally I hit save and then I hit cancel, and now I'm back in Adobe Bridge. So this is an image I've edited earlier, and now I will copy the settings from this image. Now I hit right click and I hit the development settings, and I press copy settings. Then I select all the images that I want to be a part of the time lapse. And then when I've selected all the images that I want to be a part of my time lapse, I press right click and go once again to development settings, and I choose to paste settings. In this new window, put a check mark on every category that you've edited in the camera raw. Make sure all the settings you applied to the first image are selected, then click OK to apply the settings on to all the selected images. I hit OK. Now it will update all the settings on every image. We are going to go up on the tools bar, which is here. I have a Swedish setup, but this means tools. And then I will go down to Photoshop and something that's called image processor. Once you're in image processor, you select your size as in pixels. This is your width. My width is going to be 3840 by 2160. This is UHD or 4K. Browse and you select your location for your files with your JPEG images. But when you're about to convert your images, you hit go or run, and that usually takes a while. It really depends on how many files there is and how fast your computer are. And now I'm gonna open file, and that's right here on file and open. And here I have my JPEG folder. And I select the first one and I select image sequence as it says here, and then I hit open, and here it asks for your frame rate. When rendering your final time-lapse video, choose an appropriate frame rate based on the intended playback medium. Common options are 24, 25, 30 frames per second. High frame rates can result in a smoother motion, but slower frame rates can create a more dreamy or surreal effect. And then you go up here and you hit, I believe it's called motion. And I use this in order to adjust my length on the video. And once I'm done, I hit file and I go to export. And I go to render video. And now it initiates video export. I will name my file and I will select folder where I want it to be, and I select my resolution right here, and here once again is 30 frames per second. And when I've selected all my settings and typed the name for my video, I just press render up here. And here you have the final result. So we have reached the end on this video. I hope you like it. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.